Hey guys, welcome back to Jeremy May Fishing. I had a request for to discuss the line size, what I prefer. Excuse my raspy voice. I've actually think I come down with a head cold a couple days ago, so trying to shake that. But anyhow, yeah, I guess down to business. I guess first thing first, I guess I'll start off with my jerkbait rod. Um, I Pacific, I like 10 pound test line. It really depends on how deep I'm trying to go, between 10 and 12. Now, if you're going really shallow with a shallow running crankbait, I mean a jerk bait, um, you can get away with 14. But my rule of thumb is I'm trying to maximize the depth of a jerk bait. I like to go about 10 pounds. Some people go down to 8, but the fish are real aggressive for me in my part of the country, and I just don't. I feel like 8 pound is really pushing it unless the fish get line shy or whatever. So I kind of like to stick to the 10 pound, 10 to 12 pound sunline fluorocarbon. Secondly, spinnerbait. I know that time of the year is approaching. Some of you guys are throwing it down south. We're starting to transition into that right now. So spinnerbait, especially fishing around a lot of heavy cover, things like that, 17 pound fluorocarbon. I even run sometimes down to 14 pound, but I will not go any lower than that. Fluorocarbon, sunline, same thing. 17 pound spinnerbait. That's my go-to. I don't have any problems getting them out of there, out of the cover or whatnot, and works great. Next thing is going to be like a swim bait or a swim jig or a swim paddle tail of some sort. I like to use about a 12 pound, 12 to 15 pound, depending on the cover. Now, if I'm flipping or if I'm in a really dark stained water like down in Florida or really muddy water, I'll get away with the braid. I usually throw about a 50 pound or 65 pound braid. Power Pro, it works great. Over a period of time, sometimes it likes to fade. You just need to grab a Sharpie and just kind of do about 3 or 4 feet of the leader from the bait. So next would be, let's see here, my jig rod. I like to throw fluorocarbon, 17 pound, sometimes up to 20, depending on how heavy of a jig I'm throwing. But if you can get away with a lighter line, like a 15 pound on your jig rod, it actually gives it more natural fall. Even when you start using that heavy line, what happens is the bait actually starts to pendulum away from the cover, even on a slack line, because the line is really heavy. So if you can use between a 15 or 17 pound line on your jigs, I would highly recommend that. I like to use the same thing. It's a sunline. So everything I use is all sunline. I don't use anything else besides my braid. My braid is Power Pro. But anyhow, the jig rod, my jigs, like I said, between 15 and 17 pound. And hands down, I've got a pretty nasty hook set. I throw my jig rod, like I said, at 7.3, 8 ratio. And when I crack on it, I don't break knots. I don't break line. I don't have any issues like that. So, but now if you go to a smaller diameter line, like a 12 pound or something, where you have to use a finesse jig, a 3/8 or a 1/4 ounce jig, if the fish get real finicky or whatever, you definitely have to, use your drag and use a medium action versus medium heavy. And it really, you don't break the line when you set the hook, whatever. So. Next would be my spinner. Excuse me, my spinner gear. I always like to throw my 20 pound braid on an 8 to 10 pound fluorocarbon leader, depending on what I'm fishing. This is where I have a drop shot set up, so I've got it set on 8 pound test line with about a 4 foot, 5 foot leader. I'm fishing 6 to 8 feet of water with it. So again. That's that there. Now, this is for my setup. Your all's setup might be a little different based on where you're at in the country. But these are my guidelines. This is what I'm adjusted to in my part of the country. Things different, up north or even way down south. So you just got to take it into perspective a little bit and just kind of giving you guys a rundown. on a couple of my perspectives and my things that work for me. Another thing too is shad wraps, number 5s or number 7s. You have to throw this on like a medium light, 7.3, and I throw it on an 8-pound test line. The 8-pound test with that light bait, it allows me to really hum it out there, and I'm not backlashing. You start going to a 12, 14, or 15-pound trying to throw this light bait on there, good luck. You're gonna fight it, I promise you. I've learned through trial and error. So 8-pound test, it's very efficient, and I can actually, even if I can cast into the wind, as long as my brakes are set up on my reel right, on an 8-pound test, I can really get that thing out there. Usually when you're fishing those shad wraps, they're usually in open cover or around the edges of docks and stuff where you don't have much abrasion to the line from rocks, wood, etc. So yeah, and shaky head, same thing. You know, I'll use a spinning rod for that. You know, I'll step that up usually to about a 10-pound test, leader, off my Power Pro. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. And if there's anything out there you want me to, what else you want me to cover, man, just let me know. You know, leave a comment below, and you know, I'm open to give you guys my opinion and my suggestion or whatnot on what I prefer to use for different scenarios. But again, this is my preference. This is what works best for me. You know, you guys might work a little different for you depending on your part of the country. Another thing too is somebody gave me a $20 donation. It was an anonymous tip, anonymous person, and I really do appreciate the tip. But guys, I'm not here for any monetary obligations or any donations or whatever. I mean, if you want to make a donation, donate to St. Jude's Hospital, the research hospital for children. That's what we do. So I'm actually gonna take the $20 and I'm actually gonna send it to them. It's just what I like to do. So just in case, I got 5 healthy children, and just in case I might need them, I might need to reach out to St. Jude's for them one day. It's a free service that they offer for helping children, etc. So it's just a good cause. Another thing too, if you guys haven't been following along with me, at the beginning of the year I started a pound per dollar donation, which means that every pound that I bring to the scales, I'm going to donate $1 for the entire year of 2019. So in December 31st, I'm going to calculate how much weight I have for the year, and then I'm going to send a donation to St. Jude's Hospital. And there's actually a couple other fishermen that are actually on board as well. So if you guys want to get involved in that, go to St. Jude's researchhospital.com, and there's a donate tab on there, and you can become anonymous or whatever. But it's a great cause, people. I'm really saying it is. But anyhow, right now I think it's March, and I have right around 75 pounds that I weighed since January 1st. We have a Neil Robinson. He's a guy with Bootlegger Trails here in this area, and he does a fantastic job keeping up with the records for just about everybody in this area, as far as tournament weights, their points, etc. I think I'm number 3 at the top of the list somewhere. But anyhow, I'm around 75 pounds. So far I got about a $75 going towards St. Jude's. But all right, guys. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Thanks for following along, and thanks for your support. All right. Thank you.